Hi, it's that fantasy chick. I'm back again with another stream. It's another week. It's Monday, and I have just a couple of things to talk about today. This weekend, I went and I saw Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about House of the Dragon as well, and how the strikes are affecting it. But first, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Um, Christopher McQuarrie wanted to give me a heart attack because I was literally on the edge of my seat, was as much on the edge of a reclinable seat that you can possibly be. This movie had me gasping, it had me screaming, it had me cussing out loud. Yes, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Um, so, if you can't guess, I loved it. Um, very much looking forward to part two. And yeah, so the stunts, the stunts were crazy. Of course, they had to have every Mission Impossible have to have crazy stunts, crazy chase scenes, and Tom Cruise being crazy, but doing crazy things. But he does them well. Yes, it was good. It was long. This movie was long because I went to a 1 o'clock show and I got out at 4 o'clock. And for this movie to be so long, it held my interest the entire time. Yes, the espionage was well, I feel like the espionage is always good on Mission Impossible. The I feel like that's always good. But what it really reminded me of is, I don't know if you remember this show called Person of Interest, but it took me back to Person of Interest and that show, Mission Impossible. So that's what Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning took me back. I loved Person of Interest. Yeah, it didn't feel like 2 hours and 30 minutes. Um, Dag, did we really have 30 minutes of trailers? It's a good show. It is a good show. It's it's about it's let's see. So Person of Interest is about a show. It's about like these very smart people create this thing they call the machine that the government is supposed to use to predict um, uh, terrorist attacks. So and it's able to, but of course, because it's able to spy on every single little thing, like every camera, every computer, every electronic thing in your life, it can connect to, and it can put all this information together and can say, okay, something's getting ready to happen. Well, they discover that this machine not only predicts big events, but it predicts small events like somebody is going to die. But the government, of course, don't care about little people and their deaths. They're like, we don't care about that. All we care about is a terrorist attack. So the guy who created the machine creates a back door where he's able to get, you know, the machine gives him a number. I think it's like a social security number of someone involved. You don't know if it's the perpetrator or if it's the victim. And they have to investigate and see if they have to save the person's life or if they have to stop them from killing somebody else. So it's a good show. It's a good show. Yeah. Really? John Voight? Well, John Voight wasn't 60 in the first one. That's a hard 50, man. That is a hard 50 something, man. POI sounds kind of good. It is. Person of interest is good. But yeah, John Voight. Well, Tom Cruise is in his 60s now, and he is still jumping off cliffs because he's Tom Cruise. So I have an article about Christopher McQuarrie talking about the ending. It's not a spoiler because I don't do spoilers, but it's talking about the uh, part one and part two, and it not having why it doesn't have a cliffhanger. Nope, that's not it. Okay, here we go. Okay. So Mission Impossible 7 was never going to have a cliffhanger ending. We didn't want that feeling. Like some other movies this year, I'm not going to speak of. um, so in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, director Christopher McQuarrie has explained why the film doesn't have a cliffhanger ending. Two-parter films have been making a comeback in recent years following the double whammy of Avengers, Infinity War, into Endgame. Although delayed by the pandemic, in the last few months, we've seen Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and Fast X end on cliffhangers to get fans hyped up for their conclusions. Despite being the first of a two-parter, Dead Reckoning bucks that trend, with McQuarrie stating that it was something that Tom Cruise felt very strongly about. Speaking to Total Film Games Radar, the filmmaker stated, "Where we ended the movie was always where we were going to end it. How we ended the movie was a big, big mystery for us. It kept Tom awake at night throughout production. He would come in all the time and say, 'This can't be a cliffhanger. It's got to be satisfying.' The audience has to feel a sense of completion. If you leave it with a cliffhanger, it feels a little bit like we're expecting you to come back. We didn't want that feeling. The feeling we were reaching for, and we hope you feel, is we dare you not to come back. We want to leave you thinking, oh, I can't wait to see what happens next." He added that the film's final scene, revised and reworked with Ethan, filmed 2 years after the camera started, is filmed after the camera initially started rolling, with Cruise having to wear a wig to hide his part 2 hairstyle. So basically, I don't have a place for Dead Reckoning yet. That's something I have to think about. I have to think basically where I have to think. I just saw the movie. It's still fresh. And I don't like to place things when it's still so very, very fresh, unless it's just out of the park, just out of the park. Like nothing will ever top this good. I don't leave and say, okay, this is where I think it is. It is and it isn't. The the main plot of the movie is resolved. They still have um, they still have something else to do. Let's say there's it's kind of like the Fellowship of it's kind of like Fellowship of the Rings. There's you know there's you end the movie ends, they still have to get to Mordor, but the movie has an ending. It's I don't know how do I explain it. It's like they have two objectives. There we go. They have two objectives. They have completed the first objective. Now they need to complete the second objective. The whole second movie is about the second objective. So this first movie is its own thing. This first objective is its own movie, it's its own thing, and it's resolved. And I like that a whole lot better than I like Infinity War, where they did not resolve, where they lose anyway. Yes. Yeah. So it's two objectives. So blah 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 blah. So but yeah. But Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, I definitely recommend it to people who haven't seen it. Whatever. She would sue. She would sue. She would so sue if they used an AI for her. But what's her name? The girl from Guardians of the Galaxy had didn't speak until the end of the movie. She didn't speak until so almost Guardians of the Galaxy girl had no lines, and she's not an AI. So I guess they just didn't give women lines in this movie. It was all about Tom Cruise. Okay, but before I talk too much, I recommend anybody who hasn't seen Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning go out and see it. It's great. It's mm-hmm. It's great. It will have you on the edge of your seat. It will have your heart beating fast. It will have you cussing if you're a cusser. It will have you cussing if you ain't a cusser. That movie is something else. It's worth it. It's worth it. I say go see it. Okay. Next, House of the Dragon and how it's being affected by the SAG strike. The SAG strike and the writer's strike. Okay. House of the Dragon will continue filming despite strikes. Yesterday was a big day for actors and writers, as well as anyone like us who covers the entertainment industry, as SAG-AFTRA officially joined the WGA on the picket lines for the first time in 60 years. From AI reveals to Fran Drescher's pretty great off-the-cuff speech about the labor problems facing actors in Hollywood, all eyes were on LA yesterday. We'll be figuring out what this means for San Diego Comic-Con soon, but until then, remember spoilers, Fran Fine would never, ever cross a picket line. Okay. Is that all they're going to say? I guess that's all they're going to say. House of the Dragon will continue shooting. There we go. House of the Dragon, according to Variety, filming on the second season of House of the Dragon will continue amidst the actor strike. So I'm guessing these British actors aren't SAG. So is no one on House of the Dragon SAG? This is kind of confusing to me. Because Matt Smith, I know, has been in Hollywood films and has been in studio films, where has been in studio films are always union films, and in order for you to be in a union film, you have to join the union. Blah 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 blah. Matt Smith would have to be SAG. It's not that I feel like the British actors should strike too, but there are British actors in this that appear in American films. And in order for them to be in those union films, I know they have to be a part of the American Union. So I'm like, how are they getting away with continuing to work? Yeah, they're British. Yeah, they may not be shooting in America, but this is also in America. This is a show for an American network. It doesn't matter if they're British. It doesn't matter where they're shooting. This is an American network show. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Unions are about where you work. So it don't matter where the actors come from. It don't matter where you come from. It's about where you work, where you're working at. Where you're working at, who you work and what companies you're working with. So if you're working on an American union production, you have to be an American union. So I guess they're saying that nobody in House of the Dragon is part of American unions. At least none of the actors are. Because if you're in SAG, you have no choice but to strike. But none of these actors are striking. All of these actors are continuing to work. That two little line sentence is giving me more questions. I expected them to explain themselves. No, what happened was the studio heads, the people, the producers who are in who are in negotiations with the WGA said they are going to hold out until the WGA loses their homes. They want to hold out until they start losing their homes because they are cartoonishly evil. And now we have SAG. So House of New Drake. This is gonna now I'm gonna look up all of the actors and I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, I'm trying to think in my head, who are these actors? Who are these people? Okay. Nobody is up in arms yet. Nobody is up in arms yet. If there's going to be backlash against House of the Dragon continuing to film their second season, it's going to come. It'll probably be all over social media. Yeah, I know Damon's from England, but Damon has also been in American films. And in order for him to be in an American studio film, he would have had to have joined SAG. That's why I'm like, Matt Smith has been in a couple of American productions. I have to look it up. But the one that I know that is sticking out in my head is the movie with Jared Leto. The goodness, why can't I think of the name of that? It was the Jared Leto comic book movie that nobody went and saw. He was in that. So in order for him to be in that, he had to have joined SAG if he wasn't already in it. Because that was most definitely a union film. So yeah, Otto is Welsh. Um, I don't think so. I think when you think of Game of Thrones, there was only a couple of American people on that show. That show was mostly people from England or other countries. It wasn't really an American heavy show because of where it was supposed to be, set at. Morbius. There we go. That's the show. Morbius. Matt Smith was in Morbius. And in order for him to be in that, I'm pretty sure he would have had to have been SAG. So I don't know about everybody else. I'm pretty sure Otto has been in American films too. But the bigger ones have been in the bigger actors have been in like Otto. Otto's been in a lot of stuff. And I'm pretty sure Otto has been in other American films as well. And Matt Smith has been in American films, but we shall see. Maybe there's some sort of maybe there is some sort of because he is a foreign actor, so maybe he's in a foreign union, and maybe there was some rule about foreign unions, and maybe he didn't have to join SAG. So he just benefits from it. So that's very interesting that they're going to be one of probably the only American production still going through a writers and actors strike. Hmm. Not that I have skin in the game, but these producers are cartoonishly evil, and I feel like in order for the negotiations to work out for the writers and for the actors, they can't get their way in anything. They can't. There needs to be a complete work stoppage. They need to start losing money. The way they want people to start losing their homes, they need to start losing money. So they need to come to the table and negotiate. Oh, but mm, so okay. All right. So that's all for today. We'll be back Wednesday. We'll be talking about invasion again. We're down. It'll be down to the next to the last episode. So we'll see. We'll see how it's the end will start to come together and how they're going to start wrapping this thing up. But I tell you, it's going to lead into the Marvels because I don't see them defeating the Skrulls in 2 episodes. It's impossible. It's impossible. So that is all. Um, that is all. I shall see you Wednesday. But in the meantime, thanks for watching.